Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Orff recordings. Orff. Yes, we're going to do an Orff. I'll bet you are just holding your breath waiting for this particular list, and I'd be very interested to see yours. You know, you don't have to do 5. If the only thing you know and care about is Carmina Burana, I understand. Just do a list of Carmina Buranas if it will make you happy. Because, you know, Orff was a composer of rather limited expressive means. He was fun to listen to. I enjoy his music because there's lots of percussion and the rhythms are all really kind of enjoyable, and he employs simple tunes, and, you know, there's something kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say moronic, but simple about it, let's just say. And, you know, the stuff sits in the repertoire. It hangs in. Choruses love to sing it. It's enjoyable. So here are the 5 greatest Orff recordings. Hands down, the greatest. First, Carmina Burana with Jochum on DG, his stereo one, because he did it twice. There was a mono one and the stereo one, and the stereo one is with, I think, the chorus of the Deutsche Oper Berlin and that orchestra. It's got amazing singers, Fischer-Dieskau, Janowitz, you know, the usual Deutsche Grammophon fabulous singer people. And Jochum knew how to pace it. He knew Orff. They got along. It's just gloriously fabulous. Next, Der Mond. Now, Der Mond, the moon, is a delicious little fairy tale that sounds a lot like Carmina Burana. Actually, most of Orff sounds like Carmina Burana when he's in his better mode, because he really nailed it with Carmina Burana. And the more he sounds like it, the better it is. Trust me. Anyway, so Der Mond is a story about the moon, about how the moon was sitting there and these 3 guys, steal it. One town owns it, actually, and these 3 guys come along and they figure, well, you know, we're going to cut it down and put it up and charge a fee. $3. $4. You know, and then you have to top it off with oil and keep the moon burning. And eventually the guys take the moon to their new village and they put up the moon and everyone's happy, except they die. And when they die, they want their third of the moon because they own it. So they chop up the moon into thirds and they bury it with each of these guys. And they wind up down in hell, sort of, kind of, you know, underground, where the moon glows eerily. It's 1/3 of the moon anyway. And it wakes the dead. The glow of the moon, it wakes the dead, and all kinds of chaos is happening down there until St. Peter shows up and throws basically a bomb down, and eventually they take the moon and hang it up in the sky for everyone to enjoy for free. And that's the story of how the moon got there. It's stupid, but it's charming. The tunes are great. The only problem with it is that it sort of poops out towards the end. You know, it starts to be really, like, exciting. It even quotes from Carmina Burana at one point, but it kind of runs out of gas. But until you get there, it's lovely. And Herbert Kegel's performance on Berlin Classics is stunning, beautiful, with wonderful singers. Next, well, you know, Carmina Burana is a trilogy. The second part is Catulli Carmina, and the third part is the Triumph of Aphrodite, which nobody wants to listen to, and I cannot blame them. But the Catulli Carmina is one of the great works for mostly a cappella choir. It has an instrumental thing at the beginning and the end with Stravinsky's Les Noces forces, 4 pianos and percussion. You know, Orff basically made a career off of Stravinsky's Les Noces. But the rest of it is a cappella choir, and beautifully written a cappella choir. And Herbert Kegel, who was the director of the Leipzig Radio Choir forever, and who turned it into one of the great choral ensembles in the universe, just is astounding in Catulli Carmina. Then we've got another Carmina Burana, because you got to do more than one, right? There's like a bazillion recordings of it. Herbert Blomstedt on Decca with his San Francisco Symphony Chorus, which is fantastic. Wonderful soloist on Decca. Blomstedt is a lot like Jochum. He finds the music in these pieces. He's not just into repetitive rhythms and percussion ostinatos. He wants to find those wonderful little tunelets and all the small changes in color with wind texture and whatnot, that makes the whole piece so listenable and enjoyable, so folk-like in a good way. So there's that one. And last but not least, Oedipus der Tyran. These are Orff's settings of, who did the translation? The German translations, Holderlein, I think, did them, of Sophocles' 3 Oedipus plays. And Oedipus the King is a tremendous work. The way Orff wrote it was hard to take, actually, because it's all chant. It's all done as sort of accompanied recitative. There are very few moments of actual lyrical singing. There's a thrilling chorus. There's crap loads of percussion all over the place. But the basic thing that Orff was after was something similar to what he believed sort of Greek declamation would have been, although it's in German. And this particular performance features Raphael Kubelik and Bavarian radio forces, but also Gerhard Stolze and Astrid Varney. And that's why one of the reasons I love it so much. I mean, she was up for the challenge, and good for her. So those are the 5 greatest Orff recordings. See if you can try a couple or give me your own list. I'm curious to know what you think. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.